Welcome back to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories in the world of cord cutting, including today, the end of Fire TVs as you know it. There's a massive change coming this year to the Fire TVs. We'll break that all down. Also, Amazon's paying a massive multi-billion-dollar fine related to its Amazon Prime subscriptions. We'll tell you what that means. Also, Baywatch, it's coming back, a new series. These stories and a whole lot more coming up in a quick second to break down everything happening in the world of cord cutting. Now, if you want to learn more about any of these stories I'm about to talk about, you can always find a link to every story in the show notes and in the first pinned comment, so you can read them for yourself and come up with your own opinions. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. If you're new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting that thumbs up. Doing one or both lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here, so YouTube recommends our videos to more people, helping us grow, and hopefully we can help you break free from the high cost of TV and still watch the shows you enjoy. All right, let's dive into it. Now, we've known this was coming for some time, but now Lopez via The Verge has reported that by the end of this year, Amazon will launch its new operating system for Amazon Fire TVs. So I'm standing in front of a Fire TV here, and it's a custom user interface, but under the hood is Android. All these apps are basically Android apps with minor changes to them to run on a Fire TV. Now, that's been great because I've been able to sideload their apps onto Fire TVs through Android, any Android app to it, made to work on a Google TV or Android TV device. Now, though, that's going away. Amazon's replacing Android with their own custom-built operating system called Vega OS. Now, likely for you, the end user, you'll probably notice some minor changes to it, different looks and slight alterations. But for app developers, and more importantly, those side-loaded apps that may not be completely above par, will be no longer allowed. You won't be able to side-load anymore to get Android apps on Fire TVs. Now, exactly what this will look like is unknown. Next week, there's a big Amazon device event where they're going to be inviting people out for a big device. I suspect we'll get some Fire TV news. It's very possible they'll be announcing this new operating system there. This operating system is not just going to be for Fire TVs, but also for their Fire tablets eventually, and their other devices like Echoes. Though there has been talk about a straight Fire TV OS or tablet that runs the straight Google OS on it. We'll wait and see what happens there once we know more. We'll have full coverage of the event next week. Speaking of Amazon, they're going to be paying a massive fine. $2.5 billion will be paid to settle an FTC lawsuit. Now, with this, a few things here. They are accused of using deceptive practices in the sale and making it difficult to cancel Amazon Prime subscriptions. Now, $1 billion will be a civic penalty paid to the federal government, but they will also give $1.5 billion in refunds to customers and change how they do sign up and cancellation to Prime. Become a little bit easier to cancel, but harder to sign up. Now, Amazon Prime is for a long time, like when you check out, there'll be a little pop-up box right there that says, hey, join Prime for free shipping. And those things and other things the FTC has said was deceptive in general on how they got people to sign up. And a quote from the FTC chairman, Andrew N. Ferguson, said the evidence shows that Amazon used this sophisticated subscription traps designed to manipulate customers into enrolling in Prime and then made it extremely hard for customers to end their subscriptions. Do you feel like you were tricked into it? Do you feel like it was difficult to cancel? I want to hear from you what you think of that. But what's happening here is record-setting over $2.5 billion in fines are now going to be paid by Amazon with this. We'll see how long it takes you. Who's going to get this money? How that will work and how it will look is unknown at this time. Once we get more details about this, we'll bring full coverage here, and we're at cordcuttersnews.com. All right, any Baywatch fans? We just talked about the anniversary of Baywatch first being released. It was surprising, like 30 years old now. Well, a new Baywatch is coming. Fox has ordered a reboot to be aired during its 2026-2027 season. And with this, the iconic lifeguard series Baywatch is coming back. The network has ordered 12 episodes to make a return. And it was kind of a cultural phenomenon back in the 90s and is now coming back. Yeah, I'll admit it, I watched a little bit of Baywatch, but I can't say I ever was like, wow, Baywatch, a big fan. Maybe I'm just the wrong generation, but leave me a comment. Were you a big Baywatch fan? It's coming back. Today in TV history, we have a classic movie, the classic Hammer horror classic, The Mummy. First premiered over in the UK 66 years ago this week. On September 25th, 1959, the classic movie The Mummy came out. Created a whole genre of mummy-related, well, maybe not creating, but definitely defining a whole genre of mummy-related movies. That's today's TV history. Any fans of The Mummy? I believe it's 66 years old. All right, free over-there TV is getting a little bit better as CSI will be joining the Heroes and Icons channel with its weeknight marathons with this. Now, you can watch Heroes and Icons on multiple streaming services like Friendly, Philo, and Fubo, but it also airs in many parts of the country free with an antenna. A great way. They'll be starting to do marathons Monday through Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. with back-to-back crime there. This comes as 25 years after the original series premiered on CBS. CSI has gone on to multiple spin-off shows and more, making it wildly popular with it. All right. Apple, with everything happening, has pulled a show that they had intended to come to Apple TV+. The show called The Savant was going to be about hunting domestic terrorists with this, and drew a lot of criticism recently over how it depicted that, and Apple has decided to pull it. This was going to be one of their big blockbusters. Now, pulling it for now with everything happening in the current tensions is one thing. It'll be interesting to see if it comes out later. There's no word on what Apple intends to do in the long run. They have not replied to comments or sent us a statement about this, but what was being seen as one of Apple's next big blockbuster series, On Ice, for Apple TV+. Now, we talked a lot about MSNBC pulling back its ties to NBC News. Now, this comes as here by the end of the year, MSNBC, CNBC, and many of the other NBC Universal-owned cable networks will be spun off into an independent company separate from its parent company, Comcast. Now, with this, though, NBC, NBC News, Bravo, Peacock, and more will remain with Comcast. And because of this, MSNBC needs to rebuild their newsroom because they've relied heavily on NBC to be the way they get news through its NBC News partnerships and local stations. Now, they've done the first steps for this before the October 1st split. Now, with this, MSNBC has struck a deal with Sky News, which is Comcast's European news organization, and cable networks, however you want to call them, based in the UK, but also they have their own news teams across Europe and more. Sky News has struck a deal with MSNBC to give them access to their commercial news broadcasts, giving MSNBC access to all their news content. Still no word on any deal between MSNBC and NBC News or how exactly they plan to rebuild their news here. Now, they are on a hiring spree to hire their own news teams. It'll be interesting to see how MSNBC does going forward. But starting October 1st, so next week, MSNBC will no longer have access to NBC News partnerships with this. And in the long run, there's a great question over how this will all look. There's been some discussions about CNBC being sold off. And remember, MSNBC will lose the Peacock logo it used for a long time and will be rebranded as MS Now with it. So big changes coming to MSNBC as soon as next week. Now, when the rebranding will happen and an exact date that Comcast will fully spin it off into an independent company has not been announced. By on October 1st, its partnership to have access to NBC News resources will end. Also with this, MSNBC will need to get new studios, and they'll be moving temporarily into a temporary studios as they look at building new studios, as they will be losing access to the NBC Universal studios they've used for a long time. So MSNBC will not only have a new name, but the look of the studio shows will look very different here very soon. All right, next up, Sling TV's free ad-supported streaming service called FreeStream is expanding with 7 new free channels, including a 24/7 Barney channel. No, any Barney fans here? That one is not going to be on in my house. But they've added a bunch of new shows here with this. Highway Through Hell, Highway to Highway, K-Baseball, which is Korean baseball, Operation Repo, Scares by Shudder, just in time for the Halloween season. Sports Illustrated are joining these channels and more coming to Sling TV. Paid customers, but also the free customers there. You can use Sling TV free stream to access a ton of free content, even if you're not a paying customer. A couple other news stories that stood out to me for the week. I thought this one was interesting. Greece is looking at joining a growing number of countries banning social media for kids under 16. You need to be at least 16 years old to create a social media account. Question for you. Do you think people should be at least 16 years old or older to be able to get on social media? My daughter, who's almost 13, does not have social media. She does have an email account, though, but that's it. Leave me a comment. Let me know, do your kids have social media? What age do you think is appropriate? Do you support this? Would you like to see the United States put a ban on kids under 16 getting social media? Leave me a comment, let me know. Also, I'm very interested in AI. AI can be very helpful, it can also be very scary. And with this, private health insurers have been using AI to approve or deny care. And with this, apparently Medicare will also be getting AI to approve or cancel approved care with this. I know my parents went on Medicare, with this recently, and my mom ran into multiple problems getting approval for some of the medications she's taken for a very long time. I think she's working it out, but there was a month where she was really struggling to get this all worked out. In short here, AI becoming a bigger part of what we do every day. Keep an eye on it. Well, that's it for today. Let me know what you think. I hope you enjoy these videos. I really do appreciate your support. We got several videos coming this weekend. I'll be back on Monday with a cord cutting today. But I really appreciate everybody's support. We're adding thousands of new subscribers every month. And I'm going to be back tomorrow with another video. But until then, take care, be safe. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you on Saturday and Sunday. And until next time, take care, be safe. I'll talk to you all again real soon.